Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Lens of Truth. With me, I'm Florentino. And for today's video, let's talk about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and the latest trailer that just dropped. But before we get started, consider hitting that like button, ringing the bell, and leaving a comment. So, let's get to it.
It's like when I try to get through to you, I mention propane.
Huh. Bobby, I've got some good news, but I want you to promise you're not going to squeal like a girl. I've decided to let you grow your roses. Uh,
We'll see. Metroid. Metroid. I saw the Galactic Federation. This is Metroid. This is Metroid, you guys. This is Metroid.
So as you can see, I was super excited when they remastered Metroid Prime 1, one of the best games on the GameCube, and now it's on the Switch. And here I made a funny Samus digital painting of her playing the Nintendo Switch waiting for her own game to arrive. And I did this all for laughs because we have been waiting for almost 8 years for Metroid Prime 4 when it was first announced. And now that it's finally coming and we just got a latest trailer which lasted around 7 minutes, I'm super excited to talk about it.
Explore a mysterious planet in this first-person adventure. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
So ever since Metroid Prime 1 was remastered on the Switch, that was a basis of how we knew that Metroid Prime 4 was going to look like, because not only did it get a huge overhaul in the graphics, the textures, the control scheme, and some quality of life improvements, we knew this is going to be a graphical showcase for not only the Switch, but the Nintendo Switch too. Because it ran at 60 frames per second, just like it did on the GameCube, but visually it looks amazing. And now that we got another trailer for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, we can confirm that this is going to be one of the best looking Switch games we've had in a long time.
When the Galactic Federation UTO Research Center is attacked by arch-rival Silex, the lone hunter Samus Aran answers their distress call and becomes entangled in an unexpected disaster.
Now let's talk about the overall gameplay. I feel like they're going all in when it comes to the open world sections that people have wanted in a Metroid Prime game. So it does feel like she's exploring a huge open planet and getting to her destination. The lush jungle environments, the man-made structures that look creepy and eerie with that type of isolation and mechanical look and very sci-fi alien. And the way that she's going to get around now is the Viola motorcycle, which at first I thought was going to be a little too silly, just her having a motorcycle. I wish it would have been more of having her ship where she can kind of go around and land in areas. And I know we kind of had that in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, but now that I see it more and more, the motorcycle does look pretty cool to get to your destination. And in some areas, there's going to be a lot of enemies and other objectives that you can get to. And it looks like there's going to be some overworld bosses as well, which is going to be pretty cool. And not only with the gameplay structure, which I've always wanted to see, is helping out your Galactic Federation team and army, so people that you need help. There is one particular character that looks like he might be annoying, but we'll see how that goes. If he's not too prominent in every single part of the main cinematics or story, but I can kind of see different types of personalities when it comes to the soldiers and rescuing different people, which I actually didn't expect, but it's much appreciated this time around. Where not only are you going to have some isolated sections, which is what makes Metroid, but also helping out your team. and doing some side objectives.
This is the only way off this rock. All right, I'm in.
What do you say? Teammates?
It appears you require assistance.
I had no interest in anyone but my family. Now it's a little different.
When we get home, I hope we can keep the band together.
I can't wait to see my family. When I get back home, I'll be taking a much needed leave.
And this game looks amazing again. Not only is this game going to run at 60 frames per second at 4K, but we also have a 1080p 160 frames per second options with mouse controls as well with the Switch 2. So visually, the game looks amazing with the art style that Retro Studios is known for, and those bump mapping and textures look so good.
Just how you hold the Joy-Con 2 controllers to seamlessly swap between standard and mouse controls as you play. Plus, you can explore the immersive world in 4K at 60 frames per second, or enjoy smoother action in full HD at 120 frames per second. Choose from these two modes, both of which support HDR based on your preference and playstyle. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
And here's a little bit of the development of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So Nintendo announced Metroid Prime 4 at E3 2017. It was reportedly initially developed by Bandai Namco Studios with Kensuke Tanabe, the producer of the previous Metroid Prime games. But in 2019, unhappy with the progress, Nintendo announced that the development had restarted with Tanabe under Retro Studios instead, the developer of the previous Metroid Prime games. They announced the title Beyond and released the first trailer. Beyond is scheduled to be released December 4th in 2025, so it's 18 years after Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And I actually had to look back because I did not think that it had been 18 years since they released Metroid Prime 3 Corruption all the way back on the Wii. It's kind of crazy how time flew by. But yes, it's been that long. So in January 2019, Nintendo EPD General Manager Shinja Takahashi announced that the development had restarted under Retro Studios and said that the previous studio had not met Nintendo standards and that the decision to restart was not taken lightly. In October 2020, Retro posted a job advertisement seeking storyboard artists to work on emotional and interesting, innovative scenes that elevate the narrative. And what's also interesting to note is that several developers with a background in the Halo series are also working on Metroid Prime 4 at Retro Studios. There's a former lead character artist for the Halo series named Kyle Heffley, who joined Retro Studios, and another Halo veteran, Jessica Spence, also a producer on Halo 4. So it's pretty interesting that we're getting a lot of talent to work on this huge Nintendo game. And in 2024, at the Video Game Awards, it was nominated as one of the most anticipated games. As you can see from my Metroid games here, my entire collection, I've been playing the Metroid series all the way back since the Super Nintendo, and I've never stopped being a fan. And there has been a few bumps along the way when it comes to this game series, with it not really selling as much as Nintendo would have hoped. Although these games have been highly praised, especially Super Metroid, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Fusion, and the Metroid Prime 1, being one of the highest rated games of all time. These games just haven't sold as well as they could. Even in Japan, it's probably the worst selling Nintendo IP. But over the years, Nintendo has been slowly trying to get Metroid to become more of a mainstream, but it will always be seen as the hardcore Nintendo IP that is suited more for the hardcore audience for the sci-fi genre and also the pushing power of the system that it's on. And after the success of Metroid Dread being a 2D game, now we're going back to the 3D. I like how they're switching back and forth between those two genres and styles. And again, we have been waiting a long time, over 7 years, for Metroid Prime 4 since it was announced. I cannot wait to see what the sales numbers are going to be and if newcomers will give it a shot, especially now that we have a more powerful Switch with the Switch 2 and the install base is crazy large for the original Switch 1. Before I forget, I am also excited for what the story is going to be involving Silex. He is a returning enemy from Metroid Prime Hunters. He was seen briefly in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption at the very end with just his ship. So I'm glad they're bringing him back and he's going to be an integral part of this story. And he looks so cool. His design is just great, and overall the modern take on him, the aesthetic, the colors on him, I can't wait to see what type of a threat he's going to be and what type of other enemies and bosses that will join him will look like. And as for Ridley, the main antagonist of the Metroid series, I actually don't want Ridley to return. They bring him back way too often. I'd rather have them bring back some other enemies and bosses from previous games into full-on HD for the first time ever. So yeah, I think he should sit this one out this time. I think instead Kraid should be making a return instead because he was brought back in Metroid Dread, but he's never been in a full-on 3D game. And interesting fact that Kraid was planned to be a boss in Metroid Prime originally, but it was cut due to time constraints. So a 3D model and level for the boss were developed, but the team ran out of development time to fully implement the boss battle. The room originally intended for Kraid was later repurposed for the Omega Pirate. So I feel super confident that they're finally going to give us Kraid in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and it's going to look crazy. So I'm pretty sure they're finally going to add him in there, so I can't wait. This is one game that I've been waiting for years. I'm excited. And let me know down in the comment section below what you think of Metroid Prime 4. Are you a fan? And will you be picking up this game? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Beyond. When the Galactic Federation UTO Research Center is attacked by arch-rival Silex, the lone hunter Samus Aran answers their distress call and becomes entangled in an unexpected disaster. She awakens on an unknown planet called Viewros. Now, she must fight to survive the planet and find a way home.